would you rate your life? Good? Bad? Decent? You don't know? Well, today, I'm not just going to tell you about a way to get your life to be good, but how to actually live the good life. So, let's get started. Hey guys! So, welcome back to my channel. And today, we're going to be talking about the good life. Side note, this is for a school project, but what can you do? So today, we're talking about the 5 steps to live the good life. And I'll be using 5 texts from great voices of the past / present to help me. So before we actually get into the whole meat of it, we have to be on the same page about what the good life actually is. So I'm going to tell you my definition, and I know we kind of can all have our own definitions and stuff, but just for the purpose of this video, we should all have the same definition. So here we go. Another side note, I'm just going to rattle it out now, and then we'll kind of go into it deeper with each aspect. In my opinion, to live the good life means you've created a sense of balance and you're maintaining an open mind. You need to be able to work well with others while still being true to yourself. You need to be able to embrace hard conversations and recognize that the right thing is not always the easy thing. You need to acknowledge that there's a lot you do not know and be open to just constant learning. Yeah, that's my definition of the good life. Okay, so now I'm going to go into each topic and use some of these texts to help me. So let's just introduce them. And I think overall they'll help me kind of verbalize what I'm saying, and hopefully will help you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about better. So we have the Epic of Gilgamesh by Anonymous, The Trials of Socrates, and I'm looking at the ones by Plato, Citizen by Claudia Rankine, The Tao Te Ching of Laozi, hopefully I pronounced that right, and The Complete Persepolis by Marjan Satrapi. So yeah, let's plunge into the first thing. So, step 1, to live the good life. You need to work well with others. And this may seem kind of obvious, but collaboration is really a key part of life and being successful, being content, and getting to just another level. If you're always kind of by yourself, doing things alone, you're never going to have anyone to bounce ideas off of, you're never going to have that support. And those are all essential things to having a good life and living the good life, because they're not necessarily the same thing. And my example here that I think will be helpful is that in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh is this really cool, well, he thinks he's really cool, and he's supposedly super hot guy who's the king, but he no one really likes him because he's kind of tyrannical. And he wants to be a god, but he's kind of lost. He doesn't have anyone he really trusts. And then he runs into Enkidu, who was made out of clay to be a very contrasting person to him, but they work really well together, they form a great team, they have a bromance, and they really take that to the next level, and they both grow from each other. Maybe good, maybe bad, but the point thing is they're still developing and growing, and that's something that you need to have in your life. You need to be able to work with other people and recognize that you may not always be right about something, and maybe someone else has another way of going about it that's better than yours, and you need to be open to that. Then, these I put kind of next to each other because at the same time, while you do have to work well with others, that does not mean you just succumb to peer pressure and do what other people tell you to do all the time. That's not working well with others is. You don't need to just go along with it, go with the flow, just to be appeasing. No. You need to be able to work with other people, but you also need to recognize that you have your own ideas, and you need to be true to that and true to yourself. And that's where we come up with the Complete Persepolis. Because Marjan really doesn't feel like she fits in Iran, and then because she kind of is a troublemaker, She goes to Austria, but things are still kind of rough. And before she goes, her grandmother tells her to be true to herself and her values, and she does not listen. And then things go way downhill, very downhill. And not that always being true to yourself will mean that your life will never go downhill, because that's not true. Your life will always kind of go down and hopefully will go back up. But it does help if you listen to yourself and know that if you believe in something or have some kind of morals, don't just throw those away because other people want you to or because things get difficult. It is through sticking to those things that make you you, sticking to your essence, that you're going to be able to pull through and move forward and live your good life. Extra side note, we can also pull in some Shakespeare here, Hamlet, and to thine own self be true. So the third thing on your way to live the good life is that you need to be able to embrace hard conversations. And this is the wrong book. One second. You need to be able to embrace hard conversations. And that is not, obviously, because they're hard conversations, not easy, but it's also just not easy to go and talk to someone that makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel like you're shutting down, sometimes you're afraid to say anything because you don't want to seem ignorant, or you don't want to seem sexist or racist or anti-anything, and you just get so nervous that society as a whole, we can't move forward. We need to talk about the issues going on in our society that are invisible but so present. We need to talk about racism. We need to talk about the wage gaps. We need to talk about illegal immigrants. We need to talk about these things, and people don't want to. And that is why I think Citizen, just as a whole, is so important for people to read and really think about, because not only does Rankine force readers into positions that they may or may not have been in, but they also just make us see, or made me see at least, that something that I don't really think about still being a problem here, really here being America, really still is. And we can't just ignore it and hope that it'll just go away, because it's been decades, it's been centuries, and it has not gone away. There's a lot of things that I thought were worthy of note. I'm just gonna pick to a random page and we'll see what comes up, and I'm sure it'll be something I can tie into this video. Okay, this note actually isn't something I can tie into this video. I was just commenting that this is the Rucker R because I'm from New Jersey. Okay, this is good. So this note here was, you cannot really erase or ignore racism. And I think that's when I wrote this, because it's talking about it's raining and kind of cleaning the slate, but the slate's not really clean. And that's part of what living the good life is realizing the slate is not clean, not trying to fake clean it, but actually go through it, read it, and be able to move forward with it, not pretend it's not there. You have to talk about these things. You have to accept them, because living the good life means you understand and acknowledge everything that's going on. If you're just trying to live your little perfect life and you think that's good, it's not. It's just ignorant. And ignorance is not bliss. Okay, moving on. My books are all falling. Alright, so the fourth step into living the good life is to do the right thing, not the easy thing. And this goes along sort of with those hard conversations. And then in the sense that it's not easy to have them, but you need to do it. And just in general, if you see something happening, stick up for someone. If something falls, go out of your way. I mean, this is a very basic, minute example. But if you see someone's hat has fallen, this happened to me yesterday. Someone's hat fell, and I was going the other way, but I noticed, I didn't think anyone else did, so I went a little out of my way, picked up the hat, gave it to the girl. She said, "Thank you." I didn't realize it had fallen. I said, "Of course, here's your hat." And then we moved on our separate ways. I haven't seen her, probably will never see her again. But that doesn't matter, because it was still the right thing to do. So that's obviously a very small example. But most people will not have in their lives or in their daily lives extreme examples of doing the right thing. I have never seen, personally, someone trying to rob someone at gunpoint. But the right thing to do there would not be to just run away. It would be to call for help or get some kind of thing happening. That's not always, as it wouldn't be easy, and I'd be certainly terrified. But I still know that the right thing to do would be. Hopefully I would do the right thing. As I said, I've never been in that situation, so I don't really know. But And for my voice of wisdom from the past, in this case, I'm going to bring up Socrates and Plato, because Socrates was imprisoned and he had some friends who were willing to kind of help him get out. But he said that wouldn't be the right thing to do because he'd lived in Athens. He had to follow those. He said he followed those rules for 70 years, or he lived in Athens for 70 years. And if he didn't like how the law was, he would have left. So just because now the law was against him didn't mean he could just turn on the city, turn on the rules, turn on the code. So he stuck it out and was complicit. And while that doesn't mean that doing the right thing will always lead to your demise, it's just the essence of the thing. Don't just take the easy way out, because to be satisfied with yourself in the end, you want to look back in your life and know you did the right thing. You want to know that you did the hard thing, but that you'll satisfy yourself that way. Just taking an easy way out will not make you proud of yourself. And you cannot live a good life, the good life, if you're not proud of yourself. If you hate yourself, there's no good life at all. I'm about to put this back, but it actually ties also in to the final and fifth thing for living the good life. And that is to understand that no matter what you know, there is always a lot you don't know, always more you don't know, and you need to be open to that and willing to just keep learning. And this is really, I'll just say right off the bat, that Socrates said this because he went to the oracle. The oracle said he was the wisest man, and he said that the only way he could be the wisest was because he knew that he did not know things. I think it's so easy for us to get caught up in ideas that we know this, this, and this, we must know everything, and then all of a sudden someone's like, what about this? And you're like, I don't know. And then you just deflect. You don't want to go into it, just like all the people Socrates pestered. We all just want to leave the situation and pretend it didn't happen. But we can't do that. We need to recognize those things we don't know, strive to learn them, and accept that we will just never know everything, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying. Only through trying to learn, trying to be aware, are we ever going to be able to move forward, elevate our society, and live a truly good life. I also want to bring in the Tao Te Ching with this because I liked how, let's see, I don't know if I can, oh, perfect. I tabbed it. So chapter 47 says, one of the lines is, the further one goes, the less one knows. And this is pretty much exactly what Socrates is saying, but kind of, I feel like, in a nicer way, to say that the more you learn, the more you put yourself out there, the more you realize you don't know things. When you're younger, you have to go to school, but you have no idea what that entails. Then you move up the ranks, you're like, oh, you gotta learn about history. Then you learn about U.S. history. There's also European history. There's every country's history. There's South American history. There's all these different facets of things, and you just realize that for everything, for every connection, there's 10 more connections to each one of those. And it just keeps building and building and expanding on each other. And there's a whole world of information out there, a whole universe of information out there. And you will never know all of it. But to realize that everything you learn, there's more to know, I think that's amazing. And that should be an exciting thing, because what you know is not what someone else knows. And you can work together with those people, bringing it back full circle to collaborating with people. So you're all collaborating, you're all learning, you're all discussing, you're all growing, and then all together you can live the good life. I hope that even if these things you can't just implement in your daily life right away, just because some of them you may have to figure out how you can make it work for yourself, I just hope you think about these things when you're going about your life, and hopefully this will help you, even if you don't agree that it's the good life. Hopefully it'll just still maybe ease your mind, ease someone else's mind, just to be a little more conscientious about what we're doing, what we're talking about, and just how we're living our lives, because you can have a good life, they can have a good life, we can all have good lives if we just try. Also, shout out to my IH class. This is for you. Bye!